Yours is on, okay.
I have-
Kelly, can I? You said it's a great employee at the
You need
county.
an agenda?
Do you want, do you need?
Not that, I don't know. Something to write on to make sure you're.
Does anyone else need a copy
Make sure I do this
of the
right.
agenda or no, we're all good? Okay.
Thank you.
First, that like put me to sleep. right there.
So Wild, Albert's.
Right.
I guess it would be Edmund's wife.
I think we're ready. We're all here that needs to be here.
Right there on the wall.
Okay then, well, time to start. So welcome everyone to our COG meeting. So I'd like to call this meeting to order of the Council of Governments. What is it? March the 17th. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yes, indeed. So thank you for your attendance. First of all, do we have an approval of the agenda? Do we have a motion to approve of the agenda?
I'll move to approve that agenda.
Thank you, Jeffrey. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Kelly. Any discussion on that motion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, moving on. Let's go down to the minutes. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to peruse the minutes. Is there any corrections or comments on the minutes?
Said we just approved the February ones or today's?
We just approved today's agenda.
Okay.
And now we're
So now we're
approving
approving the
February,
February.
that's correct. If there's no other comments or corrections, then I'll accept a motion to approve of the minutes of February 10th, 2025.
Accept.
Motion by Mayor Gale. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second again by Kelly. Any other discussion on the minutes? Corrections? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All right, moving down the agenda. First item on the agenda will be the building permit running totals for the city and county. So you have in your packet or online, in your digital, you have those numbers for the city and for the county as far as growth is concerned. The totals for the year to date, or for the year, I shouldn't say to date, but for the year. Any comments? Questions, thoughts?
Is it gonna be a robust year?
Probably. Yeah. Now, how many kids it's gonna bring into the school district, I can't tell you, but
Yeah. Well, that's the way it has been last year, so not many.
well, you can see this, you can see the numbers here for the city. I mean, obviously there's, we've got 8 built over in the Rupp subdivision. There's 19 lots over there. Quail Hollow Phase 2, we got 18 more that can be built there. We have 32 apartments, 11 of them are built. Townhomes are Riverstone townhomes are pretty much all built. And we have a few other things coming online as well. Morgan Creekside. We have the mixed overlay zone over behind, over by, Napa. Over behind the old, the flower shop, and that's what, 9? What is that, Mayor? It's
Well,
townhomes and single family.
townhomes, and I don't think they're doing the 9 single dwellings this year.
But there is some townhomes over there, so, and then Morgan Creekside, is that the one that is, where is that? I'm not, I know where that is.
Turn around from.
Is that the one? Is that the one down by Rupp subdivision?
I don't know. That's a new one to me.
Teresa?
Yeah, it is, Tony. It's the new proposed one.
A new proposal.
Okay, down by the Rupp subdivision, right? Okay.
Correct.
Phase 1, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and of course, that one is not, it's waiting for final approval on that one, so. Oh, and by the way, welcome, Ty, good to have you on with us, so. Okay, anything from the county as far as homes growth? give us the news.
There's a lot.
That's pretty well sums it up, doesn't it?
6 items on commission agenda, 6 subdivisions and rezones tomorrow night.
So, yes, Kelly, it's gonna be, I think, a fairly robust year for sure. Okay,
So one question on them, it's small print, but I did look it over. Are most of them ongoing right now? All of these?
Yeah, we only put building permits on there. We don't put certificates of occupation or anything like that.
Okay.
Building permit only.
so
Yep.
these are all approved, right? It's
Mhm.
all-
Wow.
I wish this was,
Townhome between Mount Green and Morgan.
No, you got more area.
I just wondered if we could put this in smaller font.
I'll try. I'll try for next time.
Okay,
Wow, that's.
yeah, there's a lot there.
So, I got a question too, with the 6 coming on, what kind of numbers are we looking at with the 6?
A lot of that is commercial, 33% commercial development. But it's a lot of multifamily apartments, that kind of stuff. Mhm. And then we're still working through with Nine Springs, and Wasatch Peaks is on phase 8, so it continues.
8 out of how many?
14,
And on it goes?
So,
On it goes.
14 so far.
so the townhomes might bring students,
Mm,
maybe not.
No, if a family can afford to live in Oregon. To be honest, I mean, that's not what we've seen. We've seen the biggest. The enrollments
Still lower, like.
down. And you guys had our biggest,
I mean, maybe the price of towns will go lower since there's so many of them coming on.
Well, Rome's biggest issue is that 75% was approved as rentals.
Right.
So that just brought in the investors and just kind of priced everybody out.
It wasn't.
that was an
They'll be
interesting,
grandfathered in, so.
an interesting graphic that somebody brought from the school district. The last 5
Last
years
year,
of the
yeah.
growth. Mountain Green Elementary had actually gone down
Gone
in
down.
in enrollment, so.
Yeah, we had that last.
I recall the middle schools were sitting sort of static, right? High school definitely grown, but anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting, so.
Yeah.
There's some sort of dynamic going on out there, but it probably has a little bit to do with what you just said, rentals and.
No, I think that's one of the issues we need to look at as we're doing these things is trying to get more of these homes to where people can afford them and then kind of push the investors out. So people, they're not jacking because they're coming in with cash,
Sure.
just buying it all up and just, well, we'll give you 20, 30, 50, $100,000 more than you're asking. And the people with kids can't afford, they can't compete.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if anybody has the answer to that other than deed restrictions, things like that, to where really limit the investors coming in.
Well, my guess is it isn't unique to just our county. I think
No.
it's happening everywhere, certainly statewide, so.
One thing that's interesting, and I mean, I work in Salt Lake and we hear this thing over and over about, we need more and more and more homes, whether it's apartments, townhomes, whatever it is. And where I work, it's surrounded by these, high rise, they're all brand new coming in. And none of them are full. They are all advertising and, but it looks like, my students, that's where they live. They live in those areas and they say their parents can't afford to even buy what they're building right now down there, that supposedly for the lower income type things that, the kids their parents are trying to figure it out but yet they're just jamming them in everywhere, but yet they're not full, but yet we're being told we need more, but the ones we are building are not filling up.
So if you read the
So-
small print in Governor Cox's affordable housing bill, only 8%. So if they build an apartment building, only 8% of those have to be designated
be-
for affordable
Right.
housing.
So,
So
Qualifications of them.
And then they are there for 5 years and they sell it for market.
Out the door and they still can't afford the ones that are being built on
Yeah.
top of that, so he still claims, or the last one, they went down from what? 3 years ago? They said that we needed 50,000 more homes in the state of Utah, I think it's only dropped to like 40.
yeah.
With all that you're seeing across the state.
See, and where you look in Salt Lake, we have Granite School District, which is where I work. And when we look at the demographics of that district, I mean, the fact that only 8%, as Kate said, have to be designated for low income, affordable housing, whatever you want to call it. The majority of Granite School District schools are Title I. They're well below the poverty line. And so it's like, why are we limiting it to, if we're gonna make this work, we need to open it up to more and more people and not just 8. My opinion.
I've noticed something here just, well, personally, I've noticed here just in the last few weeks here in Morgan, I had not seen advertisement for rentals for some time until just here lately. And now I'm starting to see a few signs out, apartments for rent. I had not seen that here in Morgan City for a while, but I don't know what that means. If it means anything, I don't know.
They increased the rent.
Yeah. Or the demand, I don't know. Either the rent's gone up or demand's not quite as strong as it was, but it's something I've noticed here in the last few weeks, but.
The 32 apartments on the city one, there's 11 that are just about ready to move in. Initially, it was gonna be hopefully 1,400 a month, and now it's 17.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of came up, and this is something I'd like to talk to with the commission as well, is that, so in Summit County right now, they're having a major problem with being able to get the people that are gonna work there to be able to live there. And so now they're redoing their zoning to require in every development, a certain number that is affordable to these, your school teachers, the people that work in the grocery stores. And so Summit County, it's like, maybe we ought to be looking at what they're doing, and be like, what are they doing? Is that something that we need to start to incorporate here, both in city and county? It'd be like, you need to provide this because we need our first responders, our school teachers, the people that work here in the city building, the county building, they need to be able to afford a place to live and be able to get up here and go to work. And yet our neighboring county right here is having that same issue. And they've been having it for a little bit longer, but yet maybe we can learn something from what they're doing and see, okay, how are they getting by, and take a look at that. That was something I was gonna bring up in one of our work sessions, as far as we need places for our workers to live, and so.
Of course, the real question for me has always been to find affordable,
Right.
Correct. And I think they actually took that, and now it's attainable. They got rid of affordable. I think.
Yeah, affordable is not,
We're gonna redefine it as
yeah,
attainable. So
as it
affordable.
should be, because that's not a good term, affordable.
Maybe a 50 or 60-year mortgage, maybe that makes it affordable now because you knock the price.
Yeah, attainable is better, so.
So anyways, that was something that I've been wanting to, bring up, is, okay, what's Summit County doing as far as requiring it in each one of their new subdivisions, as far as you've got to have this available to our worker force.
I'd like to see that.
I'd like to see what they're doing. Like I say, actually read what they're putting into their code. I haven't had a chance to get that yet, but
Well, back when I ran for state legislature, I went with the school district up there, and the school district was, I don't know if they did this, maybe they had a bunch of land and they were gonna build employee housing.
Hmm.
I don't know if they did it or not.
yeah, I don't know.
School district was, gonna build the homes.
District.
Summit.
Been
They
talking
do
about
that?
that since 2010.
They-
Yeah, they were,
Summit?
that came up when I taught there, and I don't know if it ever came, but it was like 2 units. But I know that that conversation's been going on for
long
a
time.
couple of decades in Summit County, yeah.
Yeah.
With the school district.
Progress they've made.
I was just, it's somebody that I know that their family lives there, and they were talking about how they're in the process right now of their redoing some of their zoning and code to require. I don't know what it looks like, because I just heard about it the end of last week and haven't had a chance to look into it, but they're feeling a major issue, they cannot get the workers to be able to live up there. So they're bringing them in from everywhere else and driving the canyon, and how do we get them there?
Well, keep our eye on it.
Having to build a school. and-
All right, any other discussion on that agenda item? Hang on, I suppose, so Yeah. Okay, and the second item on our agenda is differences in transportation funds. Jory? Okay.
I don't think Jory's on.
So Jory asked me to cover that.
Okay.
Oh, okay, well, Ty, you are on, sir.
All right, I think this kind of just came out of the discussion last meeting, where we had a couple of new members. So this is just an overview of the different transportation funds that we have. There's a chart in the packet. So BNC funds are the main source of our road funds. Those are local roads. Um, it's based on lane miles and population. So the county gets their allotment and the city gets their allotment separate. And there's some restrictions on it, but it goes towards maintenance of roads, signage and signal lights, striping and those sort of things are all eligible. The main thing is to keep our lane miles up to date with the state. It's also something that the state threatens to take away or withhold if we don't comply with general fund or general plan requirements, low and moderate income housing. Every legislative session, someone comes up with a new reason to restrict those funds, but so far we've been lucky. They just like to threaten, but they're still intact. The next two are the ones that the COG makes recommendations to the county commission on how the funds get spent. The first one's the Corridor Preservation Fund. Those are from vehicle registration fees, and it's limited. The main priority for that is to buy future road corridors where we're going to need a right of way or access. So that's how that funding request from the city came in, and the COG just recently recommended, and the county just recently adopted the purchase of right of way extending 400 East through the north of the UDOT sheds. That use is not restricted. If you don't have corridor, you can just spend the fund balance. If it's for maintenance, then you can only use half of the fund balance in any one given year. But the projects are proposed once a year and recommended by COG. And so that's the process we had just went through. We worked on aligning that with the county budget. So our projects should be proposed in the September timeframe and adopted in October for the COG. The third quarter comes from sales tax. It's a 0.25% that the county adopted. So it's based on sales tax countywide, and then projects are submitted to the COG, and the COG recommends to the county commission those funds. Both the county and the city this year put in for projects. The county's was to extend the trail from the fairgrounds to the pickleball courts, and the city's was to do the trail portion of our West Young Street project that we have going this year. It's good to follow kind of the similar process, but of once a year, just being based off of our project list. I think it's just best practice to do it once a year and not as a knee-jerk reaction to, hey, this project came up, we want extra funds just to do this. It should be something that's on our list and our priorities. So kind of higher level stuff, not just maintenance projects. The last is the fourth quarter that the county also adopted countywide. That one goes just directly into the county's budget and should be supplementing the B&C road funds. It should have been a nice boost to the annual budget. And I think we've done more than a full year cycle of that. So that should be in the counties and the cities' budgets. The city receives 0.05% of that directly, and the county receives 0.15% and 0.05. And those funds can be passed through and used on city projects. It's not restricted to that, but the county receives that directly, and the city would just have to coordinate with the county if any of those funds were to be used for a city project. So maybe something city county, a joint project, that would be a good use of those funds, and again, just goes into the annual budget. So those are the four main sources of road funds that we have, and it's been the last couple of years, road funding has gone up significantly. I don't know that we'll ever catch up or be ahead, like have too much money. There's always road projects to do, and it was one of the most underfunded things in the city, at least. I think the county felt similarly that we were way underfunded on road projects and road maintenance. And these, since the county's adopted the third and fourth quarter, has helped significantly. So we appreciate those. And with that, I'll entertain any questions.
I think I'll think I'll just hang on to this sheet for future reference, because it's at least for me, it's very helpful, because it's, you know, it's something that we've talked about for quite a while as a COG, is what are these funds and where do they come from and what can they be used for? And so this is I think a good graph you have here. So I appreciate you putting us together.
Jory put it together from Wasatch Front Regional Council. So
Yeah.
that was nice of him.
Nice of Jory, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty helpful, at least it is to me, so. Does anyone have any questions for Ty concerning the funding? I guess the only thought I have on this is, at our COG meetings in the future, is it possible to see what the balance is in these funds?
We did that last meeting.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we did that
Something we,
last time, and Kate asked if we wanted it on this time, but because we didn't have any projects in the works, then we didn't put it on the agenda, but we can do it pretty much anytime.
what makes sense? I mean, quarter,
You didn't need them this meeting, so
quarterly, semi-annual, like,
you just say when you want them, Chair, and I'll put them in the agenda packet.
thoughts?
I just want to know how much is in the account.
Yeah, and the balance, you know, the balance of the account.
So much is in there.
Can do that. You want it just on the agenda and the packet, or do you just like on the agenda sheet, or do you want it in the packet?
Well, it'd be nice to be able to see it. You know, whether we see it on the screen or it's in the packet, either one, you know. Yeah, if it's not gonna cause you,
No, it's public record.
okay.
Jeffrey gave a good point. We could just put it on
We
the
could put
bottom of each category.
Just the three, don't need B and C, but
Yeah.
the corridor,
B&C.
corridor that.
I know B&C right now has 719,000 in it. Quarter four has 397,500.
Okay. Yeah, if you don't mind, that might be interesting. So
You remind me?
that would be great. Okay,
Thanks.
thanks, Kate. Any other questions on that?
Yeah, maybe. So looking at this, so how did it go last month in the county commission, you was gonna take to them what we discussed. Did they get approved? or did they-
Everything except for the corridor preservation, they asked for about 400,000 because there's no hard ask yet. So they approved 250,000 in this fiscal year and didn't cap it to where you couldn't come back next year if it was over that.
That
So
was for that property purchase.
for corridor preservation, but then the two quarter 3 projects were both approved.
So they just thought it was overvalued or the,
We just didn't
Because-
have
Well,
that
we
much
don't-
money
we
in
don't
the
have an
account.
estimate.
yeah, we don't have any idea. Yeah.
Didn't have an estimate and they didn't want to commit more than 60% of the fund. Yeah.
Donated.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Get your checkbook out.
All right. Thank you, Ty. And nothing else from anyone? We'll continue on. Dave, welcome.
Thank you.
You're next on the agenda with your Wasatch Front Regional Council report, CDBG.
All right, thank you, Tony. I've been invited by the mayor to participate in a committee, community development block grant group. They call it the Regional Review Committee. And I think maybe that assignment comes from this group here originally. And I participated on that part of last year, and we've had one meeting this year. I didn't know I was part of this group here. I happened to be reading minutes and saw that it said people present, it said people excused, and it had my name by it. Uh-oh. What my thought would be and what I propose is that the committee or the group meets maybe 3 to 4 times a year. And on those meetings would come and report the activity of the meeting. In as much as the city is well represented, I don't know that we need another person from the city. In fact, a little bit of a question is it creates a quorum for us, which I know our attorney was a little bit concerned about that. So that said, I'd like to do 2 things this afternoon. One would be just briefly talk about the group, the block grant program, kind of an executive overview, if you will. And then like I mentioned, we met last month and give a brief report on that. Wasatch Front Regional, is that a committee, I guess? WFRC is the program administrator for the Community Development Block Grant. And then they further define a committee as a regional review committee that's made up of 6 members. The Wasatch Front Regional Council administers the program for 3 counties, Tooele, Weber, and Morgan County. And there's other councils or groups that administer the same grants for similarly. So they pick 2 individuals from each county. Myself and Josh from Morgan County, Tooele County, John Olson, the mayor, Rochelle Custer, the community development director, in Weber County, Mark Allen, the mayor of Washington Terrace, Stephanie Russell, economic development director. The block grant is available for up to our 3 counties comprise about 24 different entities that could apply directly for the grant. In fact, we've used, and Ty helped me on this one, we've used some money for finishing the basement here. And I think there was some accessibility improvements over at the park. Anything else that we've done recently?
So the accessibilities were done at the fairgrounds. The county
Okay,
received some money to redo the restrooms at the fairgrounds.
okay.
And yeah, and the basement was the other project, but that's about all.
So and you say, well, why isn't there more? Since 2012, the group has taken an approach that says we want to target low to moderate income. They're looking at housing and infrastructure, the 2 main focuses that they work on. So all of a sudden, Morgan County, Morgan City, that kind of throws us out a little bit because of incomes and so forth. So I think our ability to apply is narrowed in part because of that. For 2025, there's approximately $1 million in grants. That seems to be a number that's, I think this money comes from HUD. Does anybody know? Yeah. That seems to be pardon?
And Council on Aging.
Okay. That seems to be a number that flows through from one year to the next. In the fall of every year, I think last year was in October, if an entity wants to apply, there's a mandatory meeting that talks about the application process. It's something that we may consider down the road. Our meeting last month, there was some discussion. The state oversees the activity for sure. And there's discussion, they're looking to change the posting requirements, website only and not in the newspapers. They want to create an easier application. I guess heretofore, there's been a lot of information that's been required up front. They'd like to break that down into two parts where the upfront application is involved as maybe later ones or a second one. And the idea being that they could get a little bit of a feel, the group get a little bit of a feel for whether a project would qualify before taking a lot of information or before making it onerous for the applicant. They're also looking to move back some of the deadlines, so it makes it a little bit easier to apply. Every year, the group approves an annual action plan. We did that, and I'll talk a little bit about that. And this year, every 5 years, the group approves a consolidated plan, and that was also done this year, and that includes a lot of demographic information and so forth. This year, there were, it looks like, four the applicants that will receive some funding. The Wasatch Front gets some money just for the administration. Marriott Slaterville had a sewer and water infrastructure project. And looks like a little over 200,000. Washington Terrace, Victory Park Playground replacement, 120-some thousand dollars. Washington Terrace, also a sidewalk accessibility and safety, another 116. And then Grantsville, the last applicant, the application was approved for the water line replacement. It's like maybe $300,000 for that. That gives a little bit of a feel for what the program is. And Ty will answer any questions.
So did they determine in the meeting that their priority was affordable housing?
That's the focus. And they have a rating process, ranking, if you will, but that's low to moderate income is the areas that they're looking at that receive higher scores.
So Morgan historically gets kicked out of that because the only reason we qualify for CDBG is because of our aged population, not because of our gross annual income. So that's why we're only able to successfully get grants for anything that's accessible.
Yeah, I think Ty could better answer that than I, where he's got a little more background. Did you hear the question, Ty?
He's on mute.
It just seems like for one of three, it seems like the rating is not skewed in our
So-
favor.
Ty has mentioned to me that we don't go after a lot of grants just because of our high income.
We're too affluent.
Yeah, so Kate's right on that. So in order to qualify, you have to show that the project is helping a specific demographic. And you can do a neighborhood, but in Morgan, it's not only our income, it's that our low to moderate income is spread throughout town, so there's not like a poor side of town per se.
Yeah, not an area.
Yeah, there's not an
Yeah,
area.
and so then it goes to disabilities and aging, fixed income. And that's how we qualified on the health department, is all of the services they offer are community-wide for, that includes low to moderate income housing with all of their programs. And we didn't have to do a neighborhood study in order to qualify. And
Yeah, you
then,
mentioned Ty, and that can be a little bit onerous. There is a door-to-door activity that you have to go through to qualify for some of the funding.
Yeah.
It can get a little bit burdensome.
It's,
yeah, Washington Terrace usually qualifies every year, but we don't, so.
it's been difficult for years to, you
Well, and
know.
Thank you, Ty.
We're having a meeting with Human Services and the Health Department this month because so the 1977 American Aging Act that travels down through the Council on Aging and has like your Meals on Wheels program, and our senior citizen center here it always gets ridiculously cut back and underfunded. And so we're in the red on our contributions to that, but we also can't supplement it in any way because we don't qualify for CDBG funding.
Okay, any other questions for Dave or Ty? Thank you, Dave.
All right, we'll see you in 3 months.
Good report. Appreciate it. So I'll probably see you before then, I imagine. So.
Development
Block grant. So if you said the whole thing, you'll be tested on this when you leave, Steve.
Yeah.
Wasatch Front Regional Council Community Development Block Grant Regional Review Committee. Say that fast 3 times.
Not CBD.
Got it. Got it, Dave.
CDB.
So I
You need that to get through that.
Yeah. You didn't listen to a word I said.
I did, but
Okay,
You know how my head is.
all right.
You can probably find it floating around the room somewhere.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
You.
Ty. All right, moving down to the 4th item on the agenda. Ty, we're going to give you the floor again. This is the Riverside Ball Field Rehab.
Yeah, so just because we were all involved in recreation, and I think it's been a common interest of the COG, I just thought would report that the Morgan County Recreation Department and the city have gone in on we applied for a grant to rehabilitate the Riverside baseball field. So it includes removing and replacing the dirt on the infield and providing lighting for the whole ball diamond. So we're not sure how competitive the grant is or not. This is the first year that a project like this has been eligible. The whole project cost is about $240,000. Our match will be about $95,000. So it's a 60-40 grant, but we appreciate the cooperation and the suggestion from Morgan County. We've had interest in a comp league too that wants to host tournaments. So the comp league and the county have coordinated their schedule so that they don't have a conflict or trying to compete for the same field, but it should get well used between the Little League comp program. They said they have about 250 kids, and then this Rocky Mountain School of Baseball is the comp league. And the other nice thing about their tournaments is they're multi-day tournaments. They're not just a one-day tournament. So that should help the economy a little bit. And that's all I have on that.
Ty, what's the deadline on that grant?
It was Monday. We applied for it. I finished the application on Friday. It was due Monday.
When will we know?
Oh,
That's
it's
a good
the
question.
Okay.
6 weeks, usually 6-8 weeks.
Okay. All right.
I think the grant is the state follows the same budget cycle as the city. I think they try and get all the grants outlined for the July 1 budget year, so we should know before July.
Okay. Thank you, Ty. We'll stay tuned. So.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, I thought you. All right. Okay, is there any other business to come before our COG group? Any discussion? Sure.
Tony, if I could, the fifth item is other business for the COG working group. And so just something for the COG to think about is we have the working group that will do homework or research or pull together any project. So if the COG has anything they would like to task the COG working group for, that's what that agenda item means.
Okay,
Right now, we're just working on transportation funding, like we've worked on the corridor preservation, but if there's something else that requires some technical staff, our road department, our planners, then we do have a COG working group that's willing to.
Ty, who makes up the working group?
So Kate, Ty, Lance, Prescott, Brett Heiner, the County Public Works Director, Josh Cook, the county planner, Steve Gale is on there. I don't know what county commissioners are on there since the changeover, but it's basically just county and city.
Yes, staff.
we're pretty much
Staff.
staff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Good.
All right, well, okay, thank you for clarifying that, Ty, so. Yeah,
So can I back up on number 4?
absolutely.
Wait, I gotta finish my thought.
Oh, okay.
Cause I have to go. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So my thought, we need a crosswalk in Mountain Green. I think it's 5,000 West, the middle school road where the kids are coming down. Running still across Old Highway to Lee's. I was told, who told me this? They said it had to be in the school safety plan to have a crosswalk put in. But that's not a UDOT road.
Yeah.
They said it, but that's a county road right there. So we don't need it in the school safety plan?
That, I don't know.
But if we wanted one going across Trappers by Old Farm, it would have to be in the school safety plan. But because you bus,
And like safe routes to schools.
yeah. That's not hard to put in.
Well, it's not hard for us to put in, but that's just something that's like just something that's done at each building level. That's not something we do to get a crosswalk. I don't think, that doesn't sound
UDOT said it.
so, okay.
But right now I'm more concerned about the one going across to Leeds where the new bank is, that road right there. And both sidewalks are already wheelchair accessible. So wouldn't it be hard to put in a crosswalk? Something maybe the working meeting could work on?
So in our work session Thursday, we're talking about the RPO priority list, and that's part of it.
Good. Cause summertime's coming, and where are all the kids gonna go? To Lee's, but there's nowhere on Old Highway where you can cross. There's 0 crosswalks.
So you say that is an item for RPO? Okay,
So the county commission, just like, I don't know if everyone got Jory's email today, but it was the RPO, the Regional Planning Organization's list of priorities for RPO. The county is going through that list in a work session on Thursday to make sure that those are the county's priorities and not someone that sat on this board's priorities a couple years ago, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And so, we'll bring that back to Jory at next COG meeting, but that's one of the things that could be added or subtracted as a county priority to bring to that prioritization list.
So you could add it to the RPO.
Correct.
Okay. That sounds like the best course of action at this point, I
So this,
suppose.
the city would come with an RPO list, the county, the school, they would have their own priorities of what they would need in like the next 10 years. Then we bring them back to the COG and then the COG ranks them. And then that's what WFRC takes our dollars and works towards. So it's kind of reverse, because in our normal of the COG comes up with a plan, but then the commission gets to decide at the end of the day if the money gets spent that way. This is kind of the adverse direction of that as far as planning.
But that would be the correct course of action, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Right, okay.
We would do this when he's open. Yeah, and so by law, we have to furnish what's called a safe routes to schools plan for each individual building.
Mhm.
But a crosswalk would not be predicated on that, correct? Whether or not we put a crosswalk there wouldn't be tied to any building or district safe routes to schools plan.
Because you bus everyone in Mountain Green. Correct?
I don't know if that would be why,
Okay.
but we don't make that determination. In those plans, where we put it.
And maybe he was just saying, Ty, do you remember his name? Chemo brain over here.
Brian?
Brian, I think he was just saying in order to qualify for prioritization or state funding, it had to be in that. I don't remember. off the top of my head.
Well,
Yeah.
if that's the case, then yeah, we can just say the word. That doesn't require. Tell us where to stick that and we'll stick it.
Okay.
I think it's called a SNAP plan.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So they indicated that needed to be in the SNAP plan?
Yes. In order to
think-
qualify for prioritization and state funding.
Okay, that's super simple,
Sorry.
really
If you
easy. I
request
mean,
UDOT assistance, then. And I don't think, like the project specifically needs to be in the SNAP plan, but they use that as the backup data to show that it's needed. Other than just a straight out traffic study. And I think once it gets on the RPO list, like what Kate's saying, then we can just push that as a project. Just a county-led project, but it probably will require a traffic study to get, so, does it require just a crosswalk? Does it require a push button? Does it require flags or whatever the recommendation is? You have to have kind of good reasons
Sorry, what was the question?
for why you add it, but
Well, just.
it's just my 2 cents.
Like, is it just a crosswalk or would it be like he was saying, like the flashing lights and?
We've done a traffic study twice and both came back unnecessary.
yeah.
So
Wow.
What out was during high school.
they did one before the development was done and they did one, we paid a
Shortly,
small fortune for one right after
Right.
Lee's opened.
Do you know the hours?
It's 24/7.
Well, yeah,
A lot of money.
I-
That's the trouble we're facing here down this one, trying to get one over here.
Ellie, your mic, I've got to play.
Turn your-
Turn your mic on, CP.
So this 2 studies we've done, we paid for the one and they come back with the same information basically as the first one. The problem is it's 24/7.
so we get, well, at least I think most of us on the city council will get hit up from time to time. But what about 5 o'clock in the afternoon? Or what about 8 o'clock in the morning? Or, oh yeah, there's a lot of traffic on State Street, right? We have kind of a little mini rush hour, maybe you could call it. But again, it's based on that 24-hour study, so. And that just doesn't qualify for a stoplight in Morgan City yet, so.
those are submitted annually. I don't know if we can amend those on the fly, but
That was the first I'd heard of it, was at the RPO.
yeah, it's the first I've heard of it, but just,
yeah, let us know. We can put it in there.
Okay. Well, thank you, Raylene, for that comment. Well, it's okay. I think we're about wrapped up here anyway, unless,
Something on item 4.
Oh, sorry.
oh, sorry, yeah, I apologize. No, you can't back up.
I was thinking on the comp leg that wants to come.
Yes.
It sounds like that'll be next year, not this year.
Right, we have to do so much dirt work.
Okay.
I don't
that's-
think
That's
it-
all I was wanting. It's not a rush thing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that kind of definitely rushes this year for sure. All right. Does anyone have anything else? Other business?
April 15th, UDOT is presenting to the county commission on their I-84 update, if anyone's interested. And I know tonight, April 15th at the county commission meeting, so it'll be around 5 PM. If you want to know the update of I-84, they'll be here for that. I know tonight the school has an event, right? 5:30 to 7. Retiring the gym.
Is there refreshments?
I got asked that so many times at the coffee shop. Are there snacks? Oh my goodness.
So it'll be open there to,
High school, yeah.
If Gailey's baking cookies,
And on the 24th, I believe it's the 24th, is that concert, the Morgan Arts Council.
20,
Is it
The 24th.
I got
is it the
that
24th?
Yeah. Over at the high school auditorium, so,
April.
it's the Eagles? No, it's not the Eagles, it's,
Something else.
no, it's that,
Lamb of God is April 13th.
yeah, the 24th is the, what was the name of them? The Red Feathers.
we looked at it today.
Led Zeppelin. will be-
For choir
oh, not-
orchestra.
no, I guess it isn't Led Zeppelin, is it?
I don't even
Okay.
know if that is.
The official, they're called the Red Feather Street Acoustic, yeah, Red
Guitar
Feather
players.
Acoustic. Actually, it looks pretty entertaining, so, yeah.
And they're going to be in the schools, both elementaries.
Yeah, they'll be in
during
the-
day.
Mountain Green in the morning and Oregon in the afternoon, the elementary school, so.
So I also sit on the Wasatch Peaks Resort Foundation as their community rep. And they are going to start bringing in keynote speakers for free community talks. And we're talking like, it has to be non-political and non-sacred. So only secular topics. The first one they're going to bring in is Martin Luther King III is going to be speaking. So I've been talking to the school about the cost of renting the auditorium for an event like that, but it's free to the community. But
Oh,
they're gonna bring in free speakers like that quarterly.
okay.
When does Trump come?
There's dozens,
I thought she said it was non-political.
non-political, non-sacred.
Oh, I thought that was him.
Yeah.
Political.
I thought that's what he was all about.
Okay, yeah, that'll keep us informed on that. That sounds interesting. I had something, but I forgot what it was, so. Okay, anything else? Any other business? Thank you all for being here. Oh, I know what it was. Who is the vice chair of this body? I'm looking here. I will not be here April 21st, so I'll be in Boston. My daughter's running in the
Marathon?
marathon. Yeah. She's
We'll say some prayers for her.
finally qualified for the Boston Marathon.
Awesome.
And I think that is on the 21st, so, no, yeah, yes, it is. It's on the 21st, so. Anyway, Jeffrey's more than capable of handling the meeting, so. Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting.
You say 5 o'clock, Kate, on the 15th? On the 15th, on the update?
Yeah, their presentation. Yeah. So they don't.